In terms of the tokens themselves, we do see analysts sort of on the fence about what's actually going to happen from here. There's always these very lofty valuations as to where Bitcoin is going to go, but what's the reality showing us right now?
I love this question, Rochelle. So there's a really exciting answer to this question, I think. We are in a new world, at least in terms of Bitcoin now, that we're in a world that Bitcoin has never seen before. And what's different about this world is we're no longer under zero interest rate policy. Bitcoin was created under zero interest rate policy. Every single boom we've had so far has been in a zero interest rate environment. And now there's actually yields that investors can get, like off of treasuries. I mean, that's the thing everyone's got to compete with. And so Bitcoin has never been up against this environment before. It's a completely different world. I mean, it is the normal world. It's the way it's the way that investing has been in the United States for most of time, but it just hasn't been for a very long time since the Great Recession. So the next big boom, I think it'll probably come, but it could be more muted this time because, investors aren't piling into risk assets in quite the same way now that they have like actual yields they can get off of treasuries again.
But does it take other cryptocurrencies with it? Or is it just all Bitcoin? And that is, even though it, of course, is the largest kind of market cap of the total crypto market cap right now, is it just zero-sum Bitcoin after a ruling like this?
Oh, I can't imagine a world in which a boom in Bitcoin doesn't yield a boom in everything else, just like it always does. Yeah.
Sure.
And we know that when it came to even classifying Bitcoin versus other cryptos as securities versus assets, Bitcoin has seemed to be in its own lane at the moment. Do we see that changing as we look at sort of some of the potential regulation or sort of regulation by violation as we've been seeing when it comes to some of these exchanges and tokens? Do we expect more of that? Any standouts coming ahead for you?
Well, I mean, the SEC's other big loss this year was the decision on XRP, where the courts found that XRP wasn't a security, which a lot of people have questions about that ruling, and the SEC is going to try to appeal it. But we also have Congress looking to create a new definition for different kinds of cryptocurrencies. And so this world in which Bitcoin is the only cryptocurrency that is not a security, it's hard to imagine that lasting forever. The question is just how long until a few other cryptocurrencies get the green light to sort of trade normally like Bitcoin has.
And so is this for an industry that's saying, regulate us, regulate us,
right.
regulate us, so we know how we can move forward
yes.
with the necessary boundaries.
Yeah.
Is this the first piece where we see this opening up a floodgate of other regulation that then paves the way for people to know how they can engage with, and for companies who are trying to introduce assets to know how they can engage with consumers as well?
Well, I still think this SEC is going to fight crypto in every possible way it can, but Congress really wants to change the rules. And if Congress changes the rules, SEC has to follow. So I guess in terms of like really giving the industry a path forward, my bet is either on Congress acting or a new president. I don't know that Gary Gensler's SEC is ever going to create that path for cryptocurrency. So they have to wait a while if it's just a regulation question.
Does that mean crypto's on the ballot in 24?
I mean, it's definitely a voting issue for some people. I don't think it's going to decide the election.
Not everybody, yeah.
Yeah.